All right, guys, you voted for this Mr. Beast conspiracy thing, whatever it's called. Mr. Beast's friend Chris. This video is preposterous, bro. I don't know who this content creator is. Melanie Mac. But somebody sent this to me. And it's about this concept, this really intelligent theory that maybe somebody paid Mr. Beast's friend Chris to decide to transition. That's wild. Of course, riding off the back of Sunny V2's video, promoting the idea that Mr. Beast, that Chris is just a character being inserted in for clout in some capacity. I guess I'm not super surprised by this. Some conservatives are wild, bro. And like next level, we're getting to like that next level of transphobia. Smoking that transphobia pack, baby. Is that right? Did I use that correctly? I don't know. Anyway, let's get this going. Anyway, we're going to watch this video while I play a game that trans people love. Overwatch.
For social media rock and you don't know who this Chris guy is or even Mr. Beast, quite frankly, you're kind of lucky to not.
I just want to be clear because I already know how this goes with like a lot of transphobic conservative people. It's always intentional when they call a trans person by their pronouns because I think that she thinks that Chris is not a guy anymore and is like identifying as a girl. So conservatives use a lot. They'll say the wrong pronoun intentionally, but they won't just do it. They'll overly say it constantly. So it's like if you're a trans woman, they're not just gonna call you a man. They're gonna constantly say that because they're trying to be disrespectful. So that's pretty much it.
Versed on all this stuff going on, but let me get you up to speed. So Mr. Beast, the most popular YouTuber currently, to my knowledge, who rose to fame for doing some pretty intense challenge videos, as well as just having a heck ton of money that he gave away to a bunch of people, some less fortunate and some just for fun, just in the streaming world. His friend, who apparently has been in a lot of his videos, named Chris, has come out as transgender, and now this has been a huge problem for a lot of people because
not really. It's I don't know why this would be a huge problem for anybody. Unless you're a crybaby.
Mr. Beast has been known for being apolitical and a channel that is directed toward a lot of children.
It's just so funny for the start. Apolitical. Like I understand that trans people are in politics, but being trans isn't political. All right, you talking about like whether they're valid becomes a political conversation. But then a lot of kids in the videos. Now we're getting into that narrative of like, oh, guys, the kids are gonna collapse because they see a person that is different, like as if they're going to explode. It's crazy.
So because of that, a lot has just surfaced on what's going on with this Chris character. It's just really shady.
Shady.
There's just a lot to dive into. So let me cover this the best that I can, which at the time of me filming this, Chris has deactivated his Twitter, to my understanding.
I would too. If people are being so transphobic, I would understand why. They're getting tons of hate constantly.
Because of a lot of this backlash and because, quite frankly, a lot of dirt has come up
on this wait, you paid Tris to become trans for a social experiment? Imagine Mr. Beast comes out with a video. I did a social experiment. That would be wild. That would be nuts. I could see Mr. Beast. That would be like the craziest thing of like the century. That would be crazy, dude. I would like that.
And it's just not a good look. It's not a good look for him, and it's especially not a good look for Mr. Beast, who is put in a difficult situation to where he feels like he needs to defend his friend, but also it's just not boding well for parents, especially of children who were watching his channel before. And I don't really blame them for it. But let's just start with this tweet right here, because I just think this gives us a good picture of what exactly is going on for those who just haven't been up to speed. So this tweet says, I still can't get over the fact that God has given this man everything 90% of other men would wish for: money, a beautiful wife, and a healthy child. Yet he leaves it all of this behind and decides to delve into sexual degeneracy.
What a vain thing to say. God has given you everything, money and a girl, so you should be happy. Like, what? That's so reductive, dude. Life is very rough. Also, it's not sexual degeneracy. It's just an identity. People need to stop coping.
The sexual degeneracy pipeline. God has forsaken this man. He shall regret it all one day. I mean,
dude, what is fucking happening? Okay.
I think that I speak for a ton of people in that. What could motivate this? What even? How?
I speak for a ton of people when I play that intentionally, and then I don't really comment on it because I agree with it, but I don't want people to think I said the transphobia. Hey, Linda, thank you for the 5 months sub. Good morning. How you doing?
One go from this having a beautiful family,
okay,
and
they still have the
throwing
family
it all away for
this is so stupid.
That's exactly what the description says. This is degeneracy, and this is one reason why.
Bro, why is it degeneracy? It's just a fucking tank top, right? Is that what it is? Bro, we have to just start laughing at these people. Like it's just so silly. No, at this point, like it's just silly goosery. I feel like that's it. That's where we're at. It's just silly. Why does this matter so much to you? Like this, person's trans and they're wearing girl clothes. Oh no, we're just like, okay. It's wild. It's just so childish. This guy in the game is going crazy.
Why we have to stop promoting this stuff to people, and I know a lot of people are scared to even say this.
What?
Well, I'm not, so I will be saying it.
Bro, people are constantly saying this. Stop pretending like you're saying something fucking magical, like you're an underdog. People won't shut the fuck up about transphobia. It's annoying.
And I do think that while it is very sad that there are some people who struggle with their body and they feel like they've got to do things like this to feel more comfortable, it's safe to say it's not healthy. At best, it is a mental illness. And at worst, which we have seen time and time again, and I just saw a tweet thread on this, is that the transgender movement, a lot of it, most of it, at least half of those identifying as transgender are just, it's a fetish to them. They get off.
Okay, there's nothing that even suggests that. Okay, so, Jesus Christ. Let me start with the first claim. All right, so number one, it being a mental illness. Maybe. Who cares? That is irrelevant. All right, it's in the DSM-5, I believe. So is like ADHD and autism and like everything. Like literally all the DSM-5 does, all a diagnosis does, all these categorizations do is they exist to treat you. And the way that you treat people is based on what's going to help them function in society the best without hurting society. For trans people, it's some form of gender affirming care. It doesn't hurt society for trans people to exist. Obviously, if you want to get into the conversation about like, you know, people doing things like sports, I get it. Like we should, but that's a small fraction. It's but a fraction of the conversation. It doesn't hurt anybody. It's not feeding into. Oh, it's feeding into a delusion. It's not feeding into a delusion. We don't do things based on like whether they feed into whatever you think a delusion is. Because people will often be like, well, what about anorexia? You're just gonna let them eat, not eat? No, because that means they're gonna die. They will die if they don't eat. So we let them eat. How did he not die? There we go. But a trans person has better mental health outcomes if they transition. We're kind of at a point where like it's almost exhausting constantly just saying the fact about it. We have robust mental health. We have robust mental and medical health, you know, research on this. That's a reason why this is happening. It's not like people are just going, LOL, let's make it a thing. People, like, literally, this is just mental health research supporting the fact that trans people exist. And, like, you're just upset about it. And you're arguing from a place where you're wrong. You're just wrong. You don't understand mental health. You don't care. It's just weird to you. And you're just like a fucking monkey that's banging a hammer against a tree, where you're just like, I feel uncomfortable. Like, you have nothing except for your comfort because you dictate your life based on what you want to fuck or something. You're a fucking child. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's where we're at. You can think it's weird. Cool. Who does? Like, yeah, maybe I do sometimes a little bit. Like, I'll look at a trans person and be like, oh, that's. Sometimes I look at everybody and be like, oh, this might be a little different. But, like, that doesn't matter. That's my prejudice that I'm working on as a person. But I'm not going to sit here trying to fucking legislate people's existence out of here, despite the fact that medical, like, literally all modern day medical analysis tells us that, like, this is a real thing that needs to be prioritized and needs to be, like, respected. This is just how it is to that point. What was the other stupid point that this idiot made? Of
those identifying as transgender are just, it's a fetish to them.
Yeah, that's not true. You just made up a statistic. There's nothing that suggests that 50% of trans people are doing it as a fetish. You're really weird. I don't understand, like, how conservative people can get away with being really dumb like this. And I'm not saying there aren't dumb progressives, because there certainly are really dumb people. But right now, we're in our conservative push And that's what's happening. Like, if you notice, like back in like 2020, we had a progressive push. So you had a lot of dumb fucking progressive ideology getting pushed around, like really stupid shit. Like, oh, you're transphobic if you won't fuck a trans person, or you're homophobic, or excuse me, you're fatphobic if you won't fuck a fat person and stuff. Now we have a conservative push where conservatives are in there, and now again, these people are just acting like absolute dumb fucks, saying the wildest, like unintelligent shit. And this is just how life is. We just go ebb and flow back and forth between dumb conservatives and dumb progressives. Like, that's it. That's life. That's literally life. So get used to just being like, this year I'm too progressive. Next year I'll be too conservative. You know, that's just how it's going to work. You know, when I said that trans women shouldn't compete in sports because they have an advantage, I was too conservative. Now I'm too progressive for saying trans people, you know, should be able to get access to gender confirmed care. This is just how life is going to go. I mean, it's just obnoxious. You know, it's annoying. It's so fucking childish.
Get off as guys who dress as women, so on and so forth. I saw another tweet thread about this yesterday, which made a lot of sense. To where
I saw a tweet thread, guys. Holy fuck, that's facts. Tweet threads are fucking facts, dude. Holy shit.
It basically said, if you really want to unpack just what a lot of the transgender movement is and a lot of perversion involved in it, look at Reddit threads, look at, or it was Facebook groups. There's Facebook groups for male to female transgender people, as well as Facebook groups of female to male transgender.
Who cares? What does that mean?
The difference was just jarring. The
what?
Female to male transgender group had people giving advice, you know, talking about their body insecurities, so on and so forth. And the male to female transgender group was predominantly these men posting slutty pictures of themselves in dresses and wigs and just very...
Are you saying that they were just dressed like women? Like, I don't understand. You want me to cite your sources. Look at Twitter and Facebook, my sources.
Pornographic type content that is spread throughout there.
Sure.
Now, most transgender people in
let's
general
Let's see if she put the Facebook group in her thing. Nope. You gonna show any pictures of the Facebook group? Nope. Okay. So just go find some obscure Facebook group and pretend that that's facts. Nice. Really cool.
Male, female. Okay? And obviously they're not actually female, but they pose themselves as male to female.
Okay.
And as you see,
they actually don't, by the way. Male to female is like a dated term. You can't change your sex. That's why people like are trans women and trans men, and they're not like MTF or FTM anymore. That's dated because we understand that you can't change your biology.
Social media, even a lot of them get into like pornographic type stuff because for the most part, and for a huge chunk of it, it truly is. Just,
Papa Grand super chatted $1.99. Papa got haha wee shits diaper oopsie.
That's exactly how I feel right now, brother. Holy moly, I'm getting my ass turned.
See, it's sexual degeneracy. It's kink. It's disgusting. The fact that they are involving children in this, especially. So,
what does it mean involving children in this? I don't understand that. Like, what does that mean? Like, why? Because there are some conversations about kids transitioning if they have diagnosed gender dysphoria by like people who've spent fucking 10 years of their life studying this. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like I believe Blair White and even Kelly Cadigan, if you just look these people up, these are individuals that like started transitioning when they were like minors, and they're super happy with their transition, and they're like, well, we shouldn't give this to kids. I understand, like that could be really scary because they're young and they're like impressionable, and like I don't know, there could be a lot going on in their life. Maybe they're misdiagnosing, but that's just a conversation about properly diagnosing, right? And like getting better at that. But the reality is every trans adult that exists was trans as a kid, you know, and it's about like figuring out how to give them better mental health outcomes, you know, in a safe, effective ways. So
I think for a lot of people, we felt sorry for them, and we just thought, you know, we took the whole thing a lot more. We had compassion on people because, like, most people want to have compassion for others, and I think a lot more has been exposed as in this movement and what it truly is.
Like,
I mean, there's a reason why the Bible is against it. All right.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what else the Bible is against? Not slavery. Bro, I'm sorry, but like the Bible says slavery's okay and you can beat your slaves. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but you can't go, no, the context doesn't make sense. That was a different time. God is an omnipotent force. If God ever said that slavery was okay, like he doesn't get to go, ooh, maybe it wasn't that good that I did this thing. No, God is always supposed to understand morals and logic and all this shit. Okay, so here's the either Here's the reality. God is, I think, real, but God did not make the Bible. Maybe he said, hey guys, do this thing to be a good guy, and then people were like, you know what we're gonna do? The opposite. We're gonna use the Bible for power, and we're gonna use it to rape kids. Not everybody, but like a lot of what happened. The huge lawsuits and shit going on in Pennsylvania where people in the church, priests were raping babies. Well, not babies, but they were raping children, and then they were just getting sent to other churches instead of anything happening. If you want to talk about what's more predatory, I think it's probably religion. I don't think religion is predatory. I think organized religion definitely has some suspicious angles. But I mean, like, knock it off with like this trans degeneracy. There's more proof that there are degenerate religious people than trans people, and I'm not painting all religious people as degenerates or as accepting of this behavior. But like, why don't you look at yourself before you start shitting on everybody else? All you say is Bible go burr, and that's your entire proof that like trans people are bad, I guess. That's it. It's just silly. And it's like annoying. The facts are not on your side. The Bible isn't factual. It's not logical. It's a book that talks about how bushes talk to each other and shit. And slavery is okay and it's based. And like, I respect having something to believe in. But I mean, like, it's not a factual piece of framework. There's no facts to it. I just don't know what to tell you. So stop pretending that you're a factual human being when you're not. At all. Okay? Shut the fuck up. And if you want to say, well, it's slavery, that's out of context, the Bible meant something different, good. Then you know what? The Bible also think of the homophobia and transphobia is out of context too. How does that sound? We all win. Everything's out of context. God loves gays. That's why he made gays. Okay.
Right. So now let's just get into more of some of the controversy surrounding Chris in particular, right? So here he has a tweet. So Allie here, she tweeted this. She said, in a tweet that he just deleted, Chris from Mr. Beast, who recently announced he's transitioning to be a woman, says he likes this. All right.
Well, that's actually not what Mr. Beast said. That's not what Chris said. Chris actually said that they are like, they can go by all pronouns. So just so you know.
I'm not going to read this out loud, all this kind of stuff. And if you don't know what this is, essentially what that is it's drawings of anime girls.
Oh, I saw all this. It was like really dumb, edgy jokes. Really what it boiled down to. There was one where they bought like some really weird. I watched like a different video about this. Definitely inappropriate, but like you know, and you definitely can criticize Chris for that, for these. But it really boils down to like super edgy jokes, thinking that this stuff is like funny. It's not. It's immature. It's dumb as fuck. Obviously, they deleted it for a reason, probably because they realized they're dumb as shit. But the problem is that this video is trying to paint all trans people as some kind of like predator. At a broad brush. They keep saying things like they're trying to get the children, blah, blah, blah. So you want to criticize Chris for being an edgy little dickheaded online fucknut. That's fine. But outside of that, like, there's no magical predatory narrative going on.
Look like children, but there's often some sort of lore or backstory that says, oh, well, she's 1,000 years old, but she's has this magical stuff going on, and so she forever looks like a child, and not even, I mean, it's just a very, 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 very young child too, which just makes this all the worse. Now, I didn't know this before. I used to think what this meant was just petite women, and that's what a lot of people try to act like. Oh,
you're trying about the word lolicon?
It's just petite women. Not all women are super womanly and curvy. I'm not. But this is a difference. This isn't just petite women. This is characters drawn to look like sometimes toddlers, and you know, just say they're older than what they look because that's their way of just getting away with it. All right, so anyway, this describes it as well. So he said here, nothing gets my knob a cranking like some. Yeah,
lolicon.
That is very, very disturbing. And here you'll see too, he made this video, and someone tweeted this, and it said, Chris, don't you identify as an attack helicopter and have always dreamed of dropping hot, sticky... this is hard for me to read because it's just gross. On foreigners over the oil fields, and I'm having plastic surgery to attach a rotor and a 30mm cannon, this, that, and the other. Okay.
Damn, I died to this bitch.
So this isn't one thing that does...
because she picked up the health.
...make me feel like a lot of what's going on with social media in general and people getting a lot of attention on this, I think a lot of people are doing this for attention as well. And the fact that how do you go from making...
You mean like the video you're making for attention? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that there definitely are kids that are identifying as trans for attention. Kids do stuff like that with everything. We got rocked. Damn. But that's not the entirety of the trans movement. A lot of young people are either exploring their gender or they're just annoying and they want to like have some kind of groupthink bullshit going on. Like when I always talk about how when I was a kid, I was really into metal and new metal was cringe. And like, there's some kids that are doing it like that, but what they do at everything. Hey, what's going on, the Magic Oddity? How you doing? But at the end of the day, nobody's actually going through legitimate transition for attention. So
this to identifying as
ever since I was a boy, I dreamed of
as transgender, you know.
Oh, look, an old video of them making a dumb joke. Okay.
I'm having a plastic surgeon install rotary.
I love how low her video is now.
So yeah, he's mocked the transgender community before because I mean it's easy to make jokes about it. We know just how outlandish and absurd a lot of this is.
Okay.
And people want to call me transphobic all the time. That's fine. Call me transphobic.
Well, you are.
I don't care because
nobody's calling you are like, and that's fine. Like, be proud of it then. Like, you're transphobic. Like, yeah, you don't affirm trans people. You're obviously very unintelligent. When it comes to this issue, you've done zero effort. You've made zero effort to actually educate yourself on anything going on. You're completely emotionally based, and that's fine. But you're transphobic. You don't look at any actual facts or only statistics. These people will use are out of date like statistics that don't prove anything, and they don't realize that there's a reason why like our entire mental health infrastructure is like, yeah, this is a real thing. Like they just think that it's like it's a conspiracy. Everything is a conspiracy to make money, but they won't complain about every other way that our for-profit healthcare system destroys people and destroys families, or destroys like it makes it so that people are dying of like cancer, and it's like 100 times more expensive for diabetes medication than it should be. So if you really care about this financial incentive to give people drugs, then you should make universal healthcare that drastically reduces that financial incentive. Why are doctors able to prescribe medications for the fucking headaches to people? Or people will overprescribe medications all the time. Doctors get constant kickbacks. If you find this to be a problem, this is a fundamental problem. This isn't a trans problem. So like, this whole thing is just dumb.
At the end of the day, and like I said earlier, at best it's a mental illness. We shouldn't wish this for anybody, and we certainly shouldn't be celebrating it. So we can...
No, we should treat it correctly, which is gender-affirming care. So
sympathize with people who are actually suffering with this condition, but the amount of people that are actually suffering with said mental illness and condition are few and far between. It's
Chris seems like one of them. Chris seems to have gender dysphoria. So okay,
it's become just a popular thing because of attention, and then like I mentioned earlier, a lot of it is a fetish as well. And then we'll see here
with no proof or statistic. That's just you saying a thing, but okay. Poggers.
That this is his son, I believe, and
cool.
he this looks like a Snapchat picture where his son is wearing high heels,
Holy shit.
He says Tucker chose to slay this morning. I think just this is just a lot compiled here. When you have
not really, it's just a joke. They put high heels on their kid and said LOL. Tucker chose to slay. Now, if they start forcing their boy to wear girls' clothes, I wouldn't be into that. That could be very confusing. But them putting shoes on a kid and then going, haha, LOL, that's basically what it is. It's not concerning. I don't know. You're reaching so fucking far. We're going to get back to the moon with the amount of reaching you're doing.
These tweets of him tweeting about this, just see...
What does that mean?
There's just something really wrong about this. Okay, there's something really wrong about this. And then,
I love it. The proof is, guys, isn't this weird? Holy shit, this is so weird, guys. Guys, this is weird. If you look at this, this is weird. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, great. Gotcha.
Now,
what else you got?
Like it. Don't like it. That's not good.
No, not you. Not
now,
liking
here,
it.
I wanted to share. Okay, now, also before that, let me just share this tweet that also was deleted. And it is real. I made sure before I shared the screenshot that it existed. At the time of me tweeting this, it did exist. I'm sure somebody's archived it as well. So
I killed somebody apparently.
I made what I said in the caption of this tweet says, "This is what happens when you give dudes ongoing artificial PMS through HRT. You can't pump a person with unnatural hormones, then act all surprised Pikachu face when they act violent." Okay, and so then this is where he's
who's violent?
Said, "I did also hate seeing the hate for me turn into just general transphobia. So I'm trying to make it known. Make fun of me all you want, but mess with the trans homies and well." And then there's an emoji of a gun.
Yeah, it's a water gun. Hold on. So I'm sorry. So this person is getting relentless amounts of transphobia from dumb fucks like you, and then they say, "Hey, don't mess with me. If you want to mess with me, that's fine, but don't mess with the homies," making us kind of an offhanded, stupid joke about an offhanded joke. Well, that did kill me. An offhanded joke about not to mess with people, and you take that as an active threat. this is what happens when you pump people full of unnatural hormones. Yeah, you know what's interesting? Testosterone makes people angrier. The fact that they're on estrogen, I'm assuming, if they're on anything at all, would actually make them calmer. So what you're saying, again, doesn't even logically make sense. You literally took another dumb, lighthearted, stupid joke and decided to make it seem like they're violent. Holy shit. But like, it's wild. What are you doing? Don't you feel silly? You don't. I would be so embarrassed if I acted like this. This is embarrassing for you. You're just being dumb. Like, I couldn't walk outside of my house if I acted like it's such a baby. This tweet is innocuous. Is it innocuous? Innocuous? You know what I'm saying? But okay.
Now, this is just violent, and I think especially this is in bad taste after the.
This is violent, guys. This is violent and in bad taste. Somebody's getting relentlessly bullied online, and they make an offhanded joke. I just want to maximize. This is the tweet with a water pistol saying, "But mess with the trans homies and well." Like, you think that that's an active threat? She's the moron who said the thing. This is what happens when you give. She's the idiot. Oh my God. This is what happens when you give dudes ongoing artificial PMS through HRT. You can't pump a person with unnatural hormones and act surprised when they act violent. That's not even violent. That's just a fucking joke. Bro. It's so funny. Like, holy shit. Dude, how are you, like, this? What a meltdown that you're having. Jesus.
The shooting that just happened at that Christian school. But I think that this is partially a byproduct of
what does that have to do with anything?
Christian school, and I think especially this is in bad taste after the shooting that just happened at that Christian school. Oh
yeah, right. We're another reach. Okay, you know what else is in bad taste after shootings? The conservatives not caring enough to try to implement some kind of gun reform, not take away guns, but some kind of common sense gun control. It's in bad taste. All right, it's in bad taste to say thoughts and prayers to your dying kid when that's the time to have the conversation. Like, I'm assuming that they weren't thinking about the school shooting when they shot out that tweet. Okay, like, you're just being ridiculous. I don't think that you even care about those kids anyway, because like you have a non-emotional voice. It's in bad taste after. Okay, sure,
but I think that this is partially a byproduct of the fact that these people are being pumped with unnatural hormones that don't belong in their bodies.
You don't think that people naturally produce these hormones and they're just putting them in there? Okay. I understand that that's it's irregular for their body, generally speaking. But like, what about hormones for people who have reduction in their hormones? Like, what if I was born with low testosterone? Would you think it's okay for me to get a test boost? Yo, get the fuck out of here, you fucking asshole bitch. I don't know.
And so it's going to make them react in different ways. I don't even think that this is totally, you can't put all the blame on that either. That isn't an excuse to just be violent. But I think when you take people who already have violent tendencies or who already lack a strong moral character, and you...
What violent tendency does Chris have? I'd be going fucking ballistic if people were that transphobic to me. Bro, are you kidding me? Like, what? They've been pretty regulated considering. So I don't know what you're talking about. But then we're gonna say violent out. They have a history of violence, or degenerate moral code based on my subjective moral code of the Bible. That's okay. I don't know, man. I'm thinking that you're a little bit of a goose.
Do this is definitely going to push them more. Now, note how. And some people wanted to come back at this and say, well, what about conservatives that talk about self-defense all the time? This isn't a tweet about self-defense. Notice how the actual focal point here is make fun of me all you want. Okay? Make fun of the trans community, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's like, okay, I can handle it, but you mess with my homies, and, well, that is not a good look. That isn't this doesn't look like a self-defense style tweet. And again, like I said, this isn't very...
What do you talk about, like, your day-to-day life? Like, how do you interact with people? Because this is wild. This is killing me.
Bad taste given what just recently happened. All right. So now we're going to dive into a little bit of a conspiracy theory. Obviously...
Literally, this whole video has been a conspiracy theory, but okay.
This may be absolutely insane, and there may...
What up? You like the clips you've been seeing? Very cool, very cool.
May not be any truth to it.
Which ones are your favorites?
But I just found it interesting and wanted to bring this to light just to speculate on that. So this is a tweet where this guy goes, got to be one of the biggest L's in recorded history, which is true. I mean, look how just wholesome this looks.
Yeah, what an L. we hate straight families. Ew, disgusting. What an L that they exist. I hope that one of them becomes trans to dissolve that family unit, because being trans means you can't be a parent anymore.
Again, like the other tweet said, I mean, this is the dream for so many men. And then just this. Okay.
Crazy.
This is
you've already said this before.
Sad for him, and it's really sad for his family. I don't know what's going on, like with his wife and stuff. I'd be very curious to know her actual opinions on the matter. But I mean, this is just tragic. So anyway, Bounty Faceless here says, bro, he got paid $1 million to do this, which some people are saying he got paid $1 million to do this. Which
based on what facts? Facebook groups.
I'll dive into some of the evidence as to the reasons.
There's no evidence
to why people think that.
They think that because they're transphobic and have no rational argument.
HRT, and it's only been 2 months. I mean, dude, here's a guy who, he's just a normal guy and changes himself into this. And this is being celebrated. This is sad.
It's crazy.
This is very sad.
Nobody's really celebrating it. People are reacting to you guys going ballistic. If nobody had been a big dumb fuck piece of shit about this, nobody would care. Like if conservatives would just stop crying about trans people, we wouldn't care. Like people are defending Chris from transphobia. That's it. It's not like this hot take. You're bringing up the topic because you have nothing else to talk about. Because conservatives only have one thing, and it's anti-LGBTQ. That's literally it.
Beautiful family. Just throw it all away for just to look like a dude with
can't have family if you're trans, guys. Crazy.
Long hair and a soft body. Doesn't look like a woman. Okay, so what? Why? Why? You can't change why. I don't know. But anyway, let's dive more into this conspiracy theory. So this is where the Poet Trap shares this receipt. Okay, now this does look like it's come from like 4chan or something. So take this with a grain of salt. It may not be true. But after I read this more, I did find it fascinating for multiple reasons. All right, let me just dive more into it.
Let's see.
So this is
I'm going to make this Hunter. I'm going to name it Meloni. Mac is cringe. Melanie Mac. I'm going to call it Mel Mac Cringe. That's what I'm going to name my Hunter. There you go.
That Asmongold, and he's a streamer,
wow,
and Mr. Beast belong to the same talent agency.
Okay.
And that they are both directly connected to Disney and Amazon.
What?
Interesting. Today I learned that the company named Night Media literally manages basically every single Zoomer E-celebrity, including Hassan Piker, Nico Lull, Dream, and these guys. If you ever look at the YouTube trending tab, at least one of Night's talents will be up there. Night Media is just a subsidiary as Night Incorporated. Itself is valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars from venture capitalists and angel investors. Who owns Night? The CEO of Night Media is Reed Dutcher, who formerly worked for the NFL, and then went on to be Dude Perfect's manager, which Dude Perfect is another really big YouTuber. The president of Night Incorporated is Ezra Cooperstein, who was previously the president of Fullscreen and Rooster Teeth. Fullscreen, I used to be signed by Fullscreen back when YouTubers had MCNs, multi-channel networks. If you've been on YouTube for a long time, you'll know. I ended up parting ways with Fullscreen in like 2016 or 17, I believe. Unrelated reasons. I personally wasn't privy to any corruption going on at the time in that general sense. But as well as Maker Studios, which Maker Studios was huge back in the day, which is now part of the Disney Digital Network. Now, while I was with Fullscreen,
so what does any of this mean? Are you gonna?
I did
follow the money, guys.
Film a pilot with Disney Channel, Disney XD. It was for a gaming show that I was gonna host, and it ended up not getting picked up. But I did host 3 episodes at E3 of a little mini gaming series that they did specifically for that time at E3. So there's definitely some sort of connection there between Fullscreen and Disney, at least to that capacity that they had worked together, because I know Fullscreen had other talent that they had to audition for these roles. Now this happened for me back in 2016 or 17, right before I left Fullscreen. So Ironically, neither of these guys are the real talent managers, as that position is for their 90-plus employees, including Andrew Pelosi, a former higher-up at Influential. What is Influential, you ask? Influential is an AI social data and conversion technology, as well as a developer partner of IBM Watson and a Facebook marketing partner, utilizing a network of over 1 million social media influencers as a tactic for distribution. Influential runs both native and paid campaigns on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and YouTube for Fortune 500 brands. Influential is owned by Jeremy Steinberg. Night Inc. is directly financed by the Sherman Group, aka TCG. One of its executive members being Alexandra Moore, a former executive from Amazon who focused on mergers and acquisitions. However, TCG itself is financed by Providence Equity, an ESG-compliant private equity investment firm valued at over $30 billion. All of this information is freely available. I literally just ran the names off LinkedIn and read business articles, okay? And then you see this, and this is that tweet that I just pulled up here.
Okay, why is this relevant?
Sold his soul for $1 million. So as you can see in this tweet, he's replying to somebody who probably had something negative to say about him, and he says, "Ratio this, and then we will talk." And this was a screenshot of a bank wire sent to him on February 10th. Okay, for $1 million.
Wow, how convenient that they have a supposed bank wire with everything. This is, first of all, you can't Photoshop this. This is impossible to Photoshop, by the way. So we have objective proof that this person received $1 million to transition. They got it, guys. Bro, is this really the quality of content that you wish to produce? Like, just being this unintelligent? Like, I don't understand. Like, you're gonna feed into like ridiculous, baseless conspiracy theories, like Photoshop images of people getting sent money to transition. For what? Mr. Beast was on the uphill. Why would they even do this? This is just wild. Oh my god.
Okay, now what's interesting about this?
Yeah, explain it to me.
Is he says HRT, and it's only been 2 months.
Wow.
Okay, so from the date that he received this wire, it was just days shy of 2 months of him, 5 days shy of 2 months of him making this tweet.
Oh, that's wild. There's no way anybody could Photoshop it to make it look like that. This is crazy. This has to be proof that the way I feel is actually true. Holy moly.
That's suspicious.
That's so sussy.
Okay, so maybe this is just one giant conspiracy and there's no truth to it, but it's definitely suspicious. It definitely does make me wonder a lot of things. I know, having been involved in the content creation space as long as I have, and seeing how there are definitely ties between some of these companies, it's definitely worth pondering. And people might be like, what is the motivation? What is this, that, and the other? I mean, dude, we know already just the corruption that's going on in Hollywood and the music industry. It's very satanic, right? And they're pushing these kind of ideologies to people. Why wouldn't? Okay, why wouldn't the powers that be, the evil forces, why wouldn't Satan want his hands in YouTube and content creation that's blown up to such massive proportions that it is right now? If we already see Satan's influence in...
Do people listen to this? Do people take this unironically? Satan? I guess we have sexualized music, but Satan? Oh my god, people are agreeing with this person. Holy fuck. That's wild. This is crazy. Holy moly. The mom needs to be what the fuck? Okay, cool. This is interesting stuff.
Hollywood and in the music industry, of course, he would have his grubby hands involved in YouTube and all that as well. People want to call me crazy, a crazy Jesus freak. Call me what you want, but we truly are in a battle against principalities, evil forces. This isn't just a flesh and blood thing, right? So I absolutely believe that there's a huge demonic element to the transgender ideology. And I do think it's being pushed on people. And what a better channel to push and promote this kind of stuff when you're looking at the eyes of, corruption and evil here than the most popular YouTube channel, Mr. Beast. Obviously, it wasn't Mr. Beast himself who's going through this stuff, but there's still some involvement there. And then Mr. Beast is put in a situation to where he feels like he needs to defend his friend, but his channel is also going to take a huge hit in doing so. This is just a bad spot.
I doubt it. I don't think anybody really is going to care. I think you want that to happen so that you can like prove in your fucking baby brain that this is all so bad. You shouldn't be doing this stuff. But nobody actually does care, just so you guys know. So
for him in general, in my opinion, but I mean, he's got so much money, he's going to be fine regardless. But that's my take on it. I can't really give that much info beyond that because, like I said, I left full screen a long time ago. And
you haven't given us any info the whole video, though.
I've just been managing myself and being completely independent myself ever since because, you know, there were things I didn't like about full screen. There were things I didn't like about certain managers that I have worked with who did shady things and I felt like stole money from me. That's a whole other topic.
I would just imagine that you're just a nightmare to work with, and so they just didn't want to work with you anymore. But okay, sure.
But that's one reason why. And then I had another agency try to sign me a couple years or so ago. And I passed on that as well because it just seemed like a really predatory contract.
Okay.
I like to just manage myself.
I think that we should just take a book out, like a page out of the religious book, and just women shouldn't be working, right? They should just stay home and be subservient to men because, you know, I think that's the bigger issue. It's not really women's work, you know. I don't even know why you're a content creator. So you really shouldn't even have a social right to say anything, frankly. I mean, like, that's how people used to think back in the day. Women shouldn't be able to have voices, and they use religion to justify it. So why are you talking? Shouldn't you kind of live through... Shouldn't you live through that mantra or that ideology and just you know?
And people ask all the time, why don't you work with an agency? Why don't you do this? And then it's like, I'm just like, hey, if some agency wants to bring me a specific brand deal that I happen to like and that I want to work with, okay, but I'm not signing a special.
I get it. We get the cope here. It's crazy.
Not signing no exclusive contract and to have my image and to have myself managed, my social media, all this kind of stuff managed by somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, I do what I do because I like to get my opinions out there and all that kind of stuff. The last thing I need is some management company telling me what I can and can't say, managing all that, which they do try to do.
Okay.
To at least some degree. So anyway, there you have it for this video. This has just been a bunch of craziness going on, and it's just sad to see that, you know, I think it's sad to see just how corrupt and just how evil a lot of what is being pushed in social media and what is being pushed in front of children and what is involving children in terms of this transgender ideology, which is just evil. It's corrupt, it's evil, it's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not saying that every single person who calls themselves transgender.
You absolutely are. You're saying that the entire concept of trans people is an evil demonic force. You are saying every person who is trans is evil. Like, you can't walk that back. You're saying every trans person that exists is evil. You can't say, I'm not so. Hey, guys, Satan himself has created transgenderism to destroy the world. I'm not saying every trans person is evil, though. You are quite literally saying every trans person is evil. So, I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? It doesn't make sense to me.
Gender are evil people, but I do think, like I said earlier, at best it is a mental condition or demonic oppression, which I mentioned demonic oppression in my Spider-Verse video, and so many people who don't really have an understanding on Christianity don't know the difference between demonic oppression and demonic possession, and so they're just, oh, you're saying every trans person is possessed? Wow, oh my gosh. I said, there's a difference between demonic oppression and demonic possession.
Wow, well, you're talking to us like this is a real thing that matters or is real, so it's crazy.
While there can be some who are possessed, demonic oppression is not necessarily possession. So, you know,
this is like you're explaining D&D rules to me. Like, you've created an entire structure and you're like, this is demonic obsession, depression. I don't understand. Like
that transgender person that you like and that you think's a cool person or whatever, and you think might just be mixed up into something. I'm not saying that they're possessed. I'm not saying that at all. But anyway, there you have it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.
I don't think I'll ever watch this again. Okay, cool. Great stuff.